The search for clues in a deadly New York City plane crash. Survivors tell their stories. Libya says it's now ready to turn over the Pan Am 103 bombing suspects under one condition. And the money crunch. Tonight, tax changes you need to know about before you file. This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening. I'm Connie Chung, sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. Federal investigators don't know yet what caused a U.S. Air jet to crash on takeoff from New York's LaGuardia Airport last night. The flight recorders were sent to Washington today. But they do know it was a miracle 24 people survived. At least 26 were killed. Mark Phillips begins our coverage.
From out of the smoldering wreckage, investigators are trying to piece together what happened. They do know that in the snowstorm that delayed Flight 405, it had been de-iced twice, the last time about a half hour before its attempted takeoff. They know the plane began what would appear to be a normal takeoff roll. The pilot had gone beyond the point where he could have tried to abort if there'd been a problem at the time. The plane became briefly airborne, but then dipped to the left. The wing seems to have made contact, and the plane then crashed back down and skidded off the runway and into the surrounding water. This soon after a crash, investigators look at all the factors.
When we look at the weather factors and the operational factors, we'll be looking at issues such as de-icing.
The Dutch-built Fokker 28 has an excellent safety record, but ice can still be a problem.
When the ice builds up on these wings here, it changes the shape. Yeah. And when that happens, the lift isn't as good.
And makes it heavier.
Yeah, in a critical situation, it doesn't have enough lift to lift the airplane up in some cases, and this may have caused it.
The layout of LaGuardia Airport, with relatively short runways extending on piers over water, may have contributed to the death toll.
The number one problem with LaGuardia is it takes away most of our room for error. It takes away most of the safety buffer.
If a plane has to go off the edge of the runway and there's nothing but water there, then you've got a serious problem.
Investigators will be trying to determine if allowing a half hour between de-icing and takeoff is too long. And they'll have a real advantage in this inquiry. In addition to the flight information in the black boxes, they'll have a surviving cockpit crew member with likely an all too vivid recollection of what happened. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Washington.
In spite of the ordeal of fire and ice and water, nearly half of the people on board Flight 405 lived to tell about it. Jacqueline Adams had some of their amazing stories of survival.
I saw an explosion out the window because I saw this bright orange light, twisting metal, and scraping sounds, and the feeling of being thrown about, not believing that it was me.
Soap opera actor Richard Lawson was one of 47 passengers bound for Cleveland last night who was troubled by the 2-hour snow delay. Indeed, once USA Air Flight 405 skidded off the LaGuardia Airport runway and flipped over, it became the flight from hell.
It was all busted up. It was twisted metal, broken fiberglass. It was really a horror.
Hundreds of rescue workers rushed to the crash site, where Lawson and accountant Robert Spear somehow made it out of the upside-down wreckage and through both flames and the waist-deep, frigid waters of Flushing Bay.
It seemed like the cockpit area was on fire, the whole front of the plane. There was just a lot of smoke and flames.
I was literally trapped upside down in the plane, face down, and I remember thinking, of all the ways to die, not underwater. And then I saw a face and a hand reach into the hole of the fuselage and says, "Give me your hand." And he took my hand and he pulled me through the hole.
For rescue workers, it was the worst of all possible worlds.
Snow, the visibility, the fire, the smoke, the injuries, the water, the debris, the baggage floating, it was bizarre.
The pilot's body was found